Welcome to Brick System Brothers. My name's Nathan Masters. Today I'm going to look at some of the pictures we've got for our Speed Champions Summer Wave. These are published from JB Spielwaden, a German retailer. I'm not sure if these are officially up on the LEGO webpage yet, but Brickset has these images up, so we're going to take a look at them. The Jesko from Koenigsegg it's a Swedish manufacturer. Good night. We're starting off great with the foreign names here, guys. The Jesko is kind of our 76-900, so kind of the start of the numbering series here. And it is just a white sports car, kind of the mid-engine style, 8 wide. All of these are 8 wide, so that's nice to see for fans of the somewhat more accurate scaling. They do look a little large compared to minifigs, but by going with the 8 wide style, you can really work in a lot more detail. And there are quite a few updated pieces. These windshields are only a year or two old now, so getting these pieces in more sets is always good. A little wider availability for those. But the Jesko, a really sleek looking car. It does have this large tail structure, so very specialized for top speed and racing, that kind of thing. Not necessarily something you would see on the road a lot, but the Koenigsegg branding, I believe, is a new partnership, a new license they have for the Speed Champions line. So we might see more cars out of that brand. The Toyota GR Supra. I know Supra and Toyota kind of a favorite for a lot of circles, and as such, there was a lot of, not necessarily a lot of pressure, but maybe some expectations for this 8 wide Speed Champions. And I don't think those expectations were met all around, just based on some of the comments I've read already on Brickset and elsewhere. But I'm not necessarily, really big into the car scene and knowing all the different models and stuff, but I know enough to say that the Supra looks a little blocky in Lego form compared to the actual car. And you know what? To a degree, you can't escape that because it is Lego. They're not going to make a custom piece for the hood to get the Supra exactly correct. They do want to kind of find a balance between introducing new pieces and also using the existing inventory of parts that are available. So I think we can meet Lego in the middle here with the model they're putting out. The segmented stickers really is the biggest letdown for the car, but on the flip side, in 8 wide, the Supra does look, it has the decent shaping here around the rear wheels. A windshield has this other style where it almost goes straight up on the sides here, a slight bow around the center, and then it kind of reconnects on the back. And it looks like there's even a pretty substantial back windshield. So that's something you don't always get with Speed Champions cars, is that back windshield for the visibility. From what we can see with this one image that we do have, the Supra has a pretty decent back windshield on it. And the Toyota logo sticker, of course. It'll be interesting to see kind of some of these scoop upside down building techniques. That's kind of worked its way into a lot of the Speed Champions cars over the years. And other than that, the other thing with this 8 wide is we can now place 2 minifigs side by side in these cars and position that steering wheel in the correct spot. So this is a left-hand side drive. Probably easy to switch it over if you want. And our minifig here does have the interchangeable helmet and hair. Something I skipped from the Jesko. Same thing there. The McLaren Elva was actually released as a polybag earlier this year. And now we have the minifig scale version. The Elva, kind of an interesting take on this car, sports car. It has no upper structure at all. There's not even a windshield. So I'm not sure if this works really well. The first thing that I thought of when I saw this was kind of a more futuristic hover car almost. So just imagine this without the wheels, maybe even without the rims, and kind of a more streamlined as this goes down from the nose underneath, and you're almost looking at something from a futuristic, almost like a cyberpunk hover car thing. I think that would look really cool. The seats just look fantastic with the decoration on there. So it's almost begging for a mod right out of the box into more of a hover car build than an actual licensed McLaren. I'm sure that someone will be able to kind of find a modification if there's a way to add a windshield onto this vehicle. I don't even know if the Elva has an option to put a cover on it, but that would be interesting to see as well if someone put on some kind of like fold down top or just a windshield maybe to kind of put a small improvement on this model. The shaping behind the heads, the headrest, and kind of the aerodynamic flow back there, that looks really cool. Your classic blue color scheme, also a nice choice for this car. The other solid blue Speed Champions that we've had from before were both 6 wide, so the Bugatti and the Camaro, the NASCAR stock Camaro with those printed rims. Those were some other of our solid blue color schemes. There's probably 1 or 2 other ones that I forget. Oh yeah, the Mustang was a 6 wide, and that was mostly blue. So our 8 wide scale now has this blue Elva for the representation. And our driver, we have the alternate hairpiece. I really like this printed jacket with the logo on there up on the corner. It's not so much a tracksuit as it is more of a casual wear, so I appreciate looking to see that in one of these sets. The other 3 that we have the images for now are double packs. And double packs, the thing that I've heard about these from Tim Johnson over at New Elementary, an article that they're, as of recording, haven't published yet but have mentioned here on Brickset. As of release of this video, they have probably published their article. I'll put a link in the description if it is up. They interviewed the lead design, one of the design leads in the Speed Champions line at LEGO, and I think one of the main ideas behind these double packs is the shared building experience for parents and kids. Just looking at that in terms of a newer car and an older car with the same branding, in this case the Chevrolet branding, and then something a little older that the parents would kind of feel drawn to and more something from their era, and then something a little newer and sleeker for the younger kids that they would definitely be more familiar with. Or maybe not, you don't have to stick to those traditional roles, but yeah, I think that's kind of a cool take, just looking at something where it's really inviting that kind of shared building, even if someone's already doing that. And this is something I did with my dad a while back when we got an old Ferrari set. You put it out on the floor. That's when it's nice to have more than one instruction manuals for a single set. You can kind of divide that up and each build different sections. And yeah, it's really fun to kind of build through that together. So seeing these 3 double packs as an option in Speed Champions, I think is pretty cool. The 76903 set is the Corvette C8R race car and a 68 Chevrolet Corvette. Dark red and dark gray for the color options. The Stingray, I think, is kind of the nickname for this model. It looks pretty good. They have the front angle, that wedge shape, really shaped in nice. The license plate and the grille, little details on there. And if these are printed dishes, then that is well done for those designs on the rims. Kind of that spoked rim with a lot of the little lines on there going back to the old days. Kind of that fastback drop down. Possibly a nice large rear windshield in this vehicle as well, like I was mentioning with the Jesko. The race car, on the other hand, very sleek, very similar to one of the Ferraris we got last year, where we just have these plates packed in on the sides, and it's more of a compact shape for the car. Massive spoiler on the back. We'll be reaching some high speeds in the C8R. The Dodge double pack is an SRT top fuel Dragster and a 1970 Dodge Challenger. The Challenger has some nice purple highlights, so that's a color we don't see too often here in Speed Champions. The Dragster, mostly black with a few yellow highlights, so that purple and yellow complementary kind of coming out to play here. The Dragster, really interesting selection for a Speed Champions build. It definitely fits in the genre, and it's something we haven't really seen before. So kind of breaking out of that standard car ideal to go with something a little more specialized, a little more niche in the race car world. So kind of cool to see that. might not be as popular, but I think that's why it was selected to be put in the double pack, so that even the people who are looking for just the Challenger will have something else and maybe throw that up on Bricklink or eBay, and it'll get out and around. We'll have to see if there's a surplus of the Dragsters, or if enough people buy the double pack to just hold on to it and end up liking it enough to keep it around. Will be interesting. The double packs also come with 2 drivers, so 2 minifigs per set, and both of these drivers have the alternate hairpiece as well. So really giving you options for the build and display and the play part of these Speed Champion sets. Last but not least is the Ford GT Heritage Edition and Bronco R. So the Bronco here being the new sleek vehicle from Ford, the GT Heritage Edition, definitely my favorite car out of the entire lineup. For those of you who have been around the channel for a while, you may remember something I whipped up to do a recolor of the other GT that we've got from the Speed Champions line. Way back when they were doing 6-wide, they did have another 2-pack with the Ford license, and they had a 6-wide GT. I think it was a GT40 in that set. Now, I have always been a fan of the Golf color scheme on that GT, and I put something together with Bricklink Studio to kind of give a repaint on that old 6-wide version of the car. A lot of parts that weren't available in certain colors, and more so it was just to kind of see how it would look with those colors on the old 6-wide car. But I'd always thought it'd be really nice to have something 8-wide, an official Lego build, dedicated parts and prints for that, and boom, here we go. The 76905 Summer Speed Champion set has this double pack with the Heritage GT. It looks like they didn't go all the way and get the Gulf oil, like the actual logos from Gulf for this, but they definitely have that blue-orange color combo. Instantly recognizable car. It's got that sleek new windshield piece, so I think a lot of the shaping on here is getting pretty close to what we'd want to see in a GT Heritage car. I don't think this would, be too far at all from pretty much exactly what I was looking for when I originally put that recolor video together. And the Bronco R is kind of the rebuild that was in the headlines last year. I think just, some of what I was seeing on commercials, and the Bronco making a splash in the car world. So that rendered here in Lego bricks. Really substantial vehicle. It does dwarf the GT a little bit, but when it comes to minifig scale, I think it is a little bit closer than what you could get with 6-wide. Maybe not. We'll have to wait and see for some additional images, what the minifigs actually look like in there. But it does have these blue roll cage support bars. You can kind of see that through into the structure here. There's actually not any glass windshield or windows. I don't think it's a huge detraction from the model, but a lot of the shaping has been done with some other parts rather than putting a windshield in here. So a much more substantial vehicle, just from what it looks like in this one picture that we have. It's probably a pretty even split, but I'm guessing the GT Heritage has a lot more smaller, these wedge plates, little tiny tiles to give it all this shaping, and the Bronco is just more of a angular, a couple of cheese slopes here and there, but more plates and some of these other 2x2 pieces, larger tiles as well. So these are the unreleased Speed Champions as seen on Brickset. They actually published an article, and there's a lot of discussion in the comments of that article, which I will link down below, to kind of give you an idea of what other LEGO fans are saying about these models. Really, the only one that I'm considering buying right off the shelf is the GT Heritage set, and even so, with this being a double pack, I would really like to find a listing for just the GT, so I might give it some time to make its way to Bricklink and eBay and see if I can pick up just this one vehicle from the line. I also like the Elva. I think if I did end up with the McLaren Elva from this wave, I would try to modify it into a hover car. To me, it's just begging to be made into something like that. So that's kind of the approach I'd have there. I think the other ones are cool, but not necessarily something I'm going to buy this time around. A lot of my LEGO collecting actually comes from loose purchases, bulk buys, and stuff like that, as we have seen on my recent eBay series. So pop on over, check that out if that sounds interesting to you. Otherwise, hope you're able to kind of see what you're looking for in these pictures, and follow those links down in the description if you want to look at these yourself. Thanks for dropping by, Brick System Brothers, guys. Hopefully you stick around. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.